Hey, Normie Gardner here, and I'm here to tell you why I am not a white nationalist. That's right, I am not a white nationalist. I do not identify with white people, and I don't want to make a nation on them. Now, a couple years ago, or even a year ago, the question would not even cross my mind. Like, why are you not a white nationalist? Why do you have to give justifications for that? I mean, I'd be like, oh well, I'm not a Nazi, I'm not a skinhead. Why are you even asking me that, crazy person? But things have changed. Two things have changed. One of them is the left. The left has gone crazy, and they hate white people. And I'm just telling you what their emotions are. They hate white people. You can see it really obvious. They say, well, white people do this, white people do that. White people make YouTube videos talking about why they're not a white nationalist, etc. White people wear green jackets. And second thing that's happened is that let's just say I hang out in a part of the internet where it's a little bit seedier than normal. It is in Facebook, And so I meet people online who say, yeah, I'm a white nationalist. I stay with my people. Why aren't you, huh? Why aren't you a white nationalist? Why don't you stand with your people? So, I have to make this video to explain this. Now, in order to answer this question, you really need to know where this idea of white nationalists comes from. And in order to know that, you need to know that this is an American thing, okay? This is not a British thing or a European thing or a Chinese thing. This is really an American thing. And the whole idea comes from America's unique history. So in America, two things cause this issue, okay? Where people start banding together based on their skin color. And that's it. Just not their ethnicity, just their skin color. Because that's what white means. Well, two things. One of them is the fact that we are a nation of transplants. We all came from different places in America, except for obviously the Native Americans. We all came in here and we all mix and match here, and everybody has, the Amerimut is real. Everyone has different ethnicity, so we have sort of a rootless sort of society, and there are good and bad things about that. And this isn't the video for that, but it's just the truth. We have a lack of what we would say more typical nationalism. Like, for example, in France, everyone is French for the most part. They have a solidarity around their culture and their ethnicity. They're the same thing. In America, we don't have that. We have culture, but we don't have the same ethnicity. We just don't. Second thing is slavery. Not just slavery, but chattel slavery, race-based chattel slavery. There's no getting around this. In America, what we did was that we brought in people from Africa, and we said the people with brown skin are slaves, people with white skin are not. And that, I believe, is kind of unique. And it went on for hundreds of years where, different black people would be shipped over here and stripped from their own culture and brought to America, and immediately they got identified as you have black skin, therefore you're a slave. That's really is the way that it worked, and obviously that's horrible. So what they did in response in the future is that they identified with other black people, because you have to remember something. White and black are really not natural things to rally around. All right. In Europe, everyone has Caucasian skin. Do you think that they rallied around that throughout their history? No. Europe is a history of wars and the history of many different tribes, many different nations fighting each other very hard, and they really knew who they were, and they did not identify with the other. French, English, Norse, Polish, Russian, I could go on. Italy, Italian, etc. And the same thing is true in Africa, by the way. Do you think people in Africa identify, I'm a black person? They would if they were in a mostly white land. But in Africa, there are many different nations as well. And they're very ancient as well. Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, the Bantu, there are a whole bunch, and they fought each other too, So this whole idea of white versus black came together in a very toxic way in America alone. And you have these two bad combinations. One of them, rootless society already. Second of them, slavery. The black nationalists came about because they identified as black. Why did they identify as black? By their own choice? No. They identified as black because they were forced to, because they were in a society that judged them on the color of their skin. You know, I don't think that's the case much anymore. Although there's always a degree of that, but, you know, it's not the same now. But it used to be, and that took hold. Now comes the white nationalist. And I'm talking about the white nationalist today, in 2018. In this place, we have this movement to denigrate and hate white people. People based on the color of their skin. This comes from the left. It comes from, you know, cultural Marxism. They identified the white people as good and the brown people as bad. Reverse that. The brown people is bad, as good, and the white people is bad. And so therefore you're white, etc. And so now we have a backlash from that, just like the black nationalists, where white people are saying, people with white skin are saying, well, I'm going to band together, I'm being attacked because I'm white, so now there's white nationalism. And that's why you have this underground and angry movement of white nationalists. Now, here's me, okay? I am an Amerimut. I grew up in the Philadelphia area. I still live in the Philadelphia area. I'm in the Philadelphia area right now. The ethnicity I identify most with is Italian. You know, I love Italy. I'm a quarter Italian, but I feel more Italian than a quarter, and I love Italian culture. So that's my ethnicity, and also I'm an American, and I love my country. I'm actually very proud of the things about America that are good, and there's a lot to be proud of, you know. And I believe I identify with those things, with being a Philadelphian, with being an American, with being Italian. I don't identify with this. This is just my skin color. That's like identifying with tall people, it just doesn't make any sense. The only reason I would identify as a white nationalist is because I felt I was forced to. Now, I don't think that's a healthy way to live, because it's not real. It's a fiction. Just like black nationalist is a fiction. And furthermore, it's a fiction imposed on me by my enemies. Why would I identify as what my enemies want me to? Because people that don't hate white people, obviously, by definition, they have to be my enemies. I don't want to be their enemy, but they're identifying as my enemy by their own choice, for whatever twisted reason. Just like the white racist identified as the black people's enemies by their own twisted reason. So this is a label that's forced upon me by people who hate me and hate my kids. Why would I play by their games? No, I'm not a white nationalist. I never will be, because I'm a guy from Philly who's, you know, who loves Italy. I'm not, you know, I'm not a white nationalist. I don't feel any solidarity with white people. White people are not my tribe. I mean, white people are just like tall people are not my tribe. So, one last thing I want to say, though, is that everyone hates white nationalists, all right? And because they are the only acceptable villain these days, and Nazis, rightly so, by the way, Nazis, that is. We see the portrayal of white nationalists in movies and stuff, and it's always like, you know, evil, demonic evil, like, you know, full of hatred, you know. And I gotta say this, that's not my experience, okay? I mean, there are lots of people online who say they're white nationalists, who say, we just don't hate anybody, we just want to stand with our people. I think they're wrong for reasons I just explained very stridently, but they're not evil. I kind of actually just feel bad for them, and I wish they would change. This is not the route to go, guys, okay? Okay, because if you're going to identify with an ethnicity or a bigger group, you should go with something that is real. You know, Italy is real. Philadelphia is real. America is real. There are real things. And I like these things because they're likable. They're lovable. There are things about them that I love, you know? I mean, I love Wawa. I love the Eagles. I love the Flyers. I can go on about it, you know? Like, so don't identify with something that is a label imposed on you by people who hate you, because that's just going to be an artificial and hate-filled label. By definition, you can't help it. Identify with things that you love, okay? And things that are real. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.